rise for the pledge of allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do a roll call, starting from my right.
Justin Doyle.
Andrew Greenwood.
Susan Paul. James Ramel.
Council business. Fire Johnson County contract renewal. Amanda. Good afternoon.
To be first. It's all downhill from here, right? So thank you so much for having me. My name is Amanda Residue with Fire Johnson County. We are the Economic Development Organization and Chamber for Johnson County. I think you guys have my slides? Okay. I know that they're up on the screen. Excellent. All right. So just kind of wanted to be able to provide you guys with a little bit of an overview of what we've been working on over the last, since we were last here in September of last year, and also kind of paint a picture of what we anticipate doing coming up over the next year. So completed projects, consulting work. We worked on the digital talent campaign, which was centered around Homerama and the Aberdeen development. I've got some numbers here. We reached 800,000 people and 50,000 interactions, and had 1,200 people visit a special landing page that was filled with different job opportunities and things like that here in Johnson County with our Johnson County employers. And so it's exciting to kind of get to be able to bring those numbers back to you guys. Also recently had staff training on hospitality and kind of an economic development 101, which was fantastic. They asked some great questions, so that was exciting to be a part of as well. That was a partnership with Festival Country in Kankakee. Everybody should take his Super Service Disney training. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Ongoing marketing and consulting work. We meet with some of our council members monthly and get to kind of do an overview of the types of things that we've been working on, what we're seeing project-wise, the conversations that we're having, and then vice versa, making sure that we are abreast of what you guys are working on and what you guys are seeing as well. And so that we can be out there singing your praises and being a united front on what you guys are looking for as far as your vision goes. Regular engagement, we have our Aspire Economic Development Advisory Council meetings that have our company leaders and elected officials. We are continually putting out the Bargersville sites and that community marketing, project lead inquiry, and the incentives analysis that we work on behalf of Bargersville. I got to be a part of kind of the beginning operations of the UDO update, and so I love a good ordinance. It's been fun to be part of. My inner planner just really digs that. Yeah. And then obviously the Ready Grant project, the Regional Economic Acceleration Development Initiative. That's been interesting to say the least. We've had a couple. We do have some Bargersville projects later on next month, that we'll be going over, really digging into the numbers to better make sure that they are a best fit for that program. So,
Can you explain to the audience what that program is?
So that's an initiative by the state to attract population into Indiana. And so they've given us access to some match funds through the ARPA grant, through the ARPA funds. And our region, which includes Putnam, Montgomery, Morgan, Johnson County, Boone County, and Hendricks County. So kind of that little portion of our region. We were granted $20 million to be able to fund projects that will bring in additional population. So whether that's through infrastructure projects that bring in housing or quality of life projects, regional program initiatives, things like that. So that's what we are working on currently. I did want to provide you an update of what we've been doing kind of countywide really quick as far as workforce pipeline. We are pulling together all of our school superintendents and things like that and our education leaders throughout the county and collaborating with our business leaders so that we can better connect our schools with our industry partners. And so what's come out of that has been, actually tomorrow, we have our second teacher field trip where we did one with different companies that have IT involved, and then tomorrow is manufacturing, where we're going to be taking teachers around to different manufacturers throughout Johnson County, and then we have a healthcare/life sciences one that we'll be doing as well later on in July. And so it's kind of an educate the educators, expanding their view of what's available here in Johnson County and keeping the incoming workforce here in Johnson County as well. So we had a virtual field trip with Milwaukee Tool. We're creating a handbook for our companies and our teachers and our schools to almost provide a menu of different points of entry into the school. So if I'm a company that has, I can't let anybody that's under 18 back on the production floor or something like that. Okay, well then maybe you can come in and talk to the students. Maybe that's a different place, or you can do a virtual field trip. I can take on an intern. So, and then how do I, as a company, how do I go about that? And as a school, how is the best way to work with our companies, and who's the best point of contact, that kind of thing. If I've got a student that's interested in technology or R&D, these are the people that I can get that student connected with. So just a handbook of how to navigate those things. So that's one thing that we're working on as well. We've got a community leadership internship program coming up this summer still. And then marketing, finalizing our virtual familiarization tour. We're conducting our business retention visits throughout the county, just making sure that we want our companies to be able to put down roots and stay here and grow here. So, and then continuing efforts with the Red Grant. A lot of rollings.
Yes.
Been some heartburn, right, Susie? All right, and then we're looking at the possibility of conducting housing study, and this is kind of like what we're looking at in the future, focusing on supporting programs that focus on mental health and then additional DEI throughout the county. And so future programs, we'll be continuing to do those monthly updates with you guys. Ongoing Bargersville site and community marketing. We do get to field calls from brokers that are starting to work with some of the property owners that are like, what can I do with this? Well, this is the vision. This is what Bargersville is looking for. And so we're able to kind of sing those praises and make sure that we're all kind of on this united front and making sure that we are delivering a consistent message. So that's what we've been working on. I need that. Oh, and I guess the last piece though is we're hiring. And so what I've told you is a lot of things. We're doing a lot of things. And so Amanda's finally getting some help. And so we are just putting it out there that we are hiring for an economic development specialist. So if you know anybody, and so we'll be expanding our team and getting to get to do even more of this cool visionary work that we're doing here at Aspire.
Thank you for all your help this past year. So you're always open, your phone's always available, and I always appreciate talking to you.
Well, thank you very much. I do apologize. Today was a divide and conquer day. It's our whole day today blew up, and so we're like, all right, you're going there, I'm going here, and it's got it. Yeah.
And now I thought that Christian is like, that doesn't look.
Yeah. No, he's a little taller. Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
We would need a motion to approve the contract.
I'll make a motion to renew the contract for Aspire Johnson County for not to exceed $10,000.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mrs. Qualls, second by Mr. Rommel. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye.
You're going to have to work with us some more.
Aye.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, Mr. McConnell, on Morgan Insurance.
This is actually a copy of the workers' comp renewal policy and kind of related material. I think you can see on the first page on the left-hand side that this year the renewal premiums are down about 10%. And this is written through the Indiana Public Employers Plan, which was set up mainly for municipalities and public entities. Behind that, you can see the actual policy. It has $1 million limits. It's kind of split into two parts. There's medical payments for workplace injuries and then your employer's liability. While you see $1 million worth of coverage on there, there actually is no cap on the medical payments for work-related injuries. Those policy limits are for lawsuits that are brought against the town for work-related injuries. And I will say one of that is very complimentary to the town and the employees is you can see there on the first page of the workers' compensation mod that went from a 0.99 to a 0.69, and that is 100% related to the safety procedures of the town. They've done a tremendous job on mitigating work-related injuries. And where that workers' compensation mod is derived from, there's a national organization called the NCCI, and it's tied in with your employer identification number, and they use a 3-year window. So for this new work comp mod, it was from 2018 to 2021, and they look on a nationwide basis for your class code of business, and they look at your payroll, and they know that there should be a certain anticipated amount of losses sustained, and yours have been extremely low. And that's why that's went from a 0.99 to a 0.69, and that's the reason for the premium reduction, because it's a major factor in the calculation of the insurance rates. And then on the right-hand side, there is just some additional information about the IPEP risk management services that they can provide to the town, claim reporting procedures, and the prescription. The service for obtaining the prescriptions dealing with work-related injuries. There's not a whole lot to this. This really doesn't follow suit with the majority of your property casualty insurance. That's a January 1st. This is a 6/15 renewal date.
Well, I think you're the first one to tell us something's gone down in price.
Well, it always makes it easier coming in when that's the case.
Yeah. You need to come back more often.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion if you're ready. Okay. To renew with Morgan Insurance for workers' compensation.
Motion by Mr. Mel, second by Mrs. Paul. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Seacos.
Ordinance 2022-17.
I'll let you do the title.
Yes, this is an ordinance, to repeal the zoning ordinance, including the official zoning map, plus the division control ordinance. We replace with the unified development ordinance and official zoning map. We repeal all the ordinances in conflict herewith. This is a culmination of quite a few months of effort by staff and the steering committee. We were able to bring this development code to the planning commission for the last meeting, having a unanimous favorable recommendation to the council. Here to introduce this today. I forwarded the actual ordinance over to legal for review. There's plenty of examples that I was able to borrow from out there. So yeah, there's one minor change to the zoning map that will require the planning commission to recertify that. Doesn't preclude council to move forward, plan on publishing the notice to consider for the next meeting. So,
Joe, please work with the treasurer's office to get that done.
we'll do. Thank you.
Thank you. So you can stay up there, right?
Outside.
So ordinance 2022-11.
So this is first reading. You saw this last last meeting. Then, of course, chapter 151 of this code are already put in this as certificates of occupancy. There was a little bit of that before, red line with David's office. We got that squared away next day. This affects reinstating permits or extensions of building permits actually expire after 18 months. Also clarifies our top C1 policy.
Any questions from Stephen?
This was ready for adoption.
Yes.
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance 2022-11.
We have a motion by Mr. Doyle and a second by Mrs. Moore. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. 5-0. Kevin, you. Mr. Killender, ordinance 2022-12. Just red.
It's red.
Good afternoon. Yes, we have a public hearing today for the adoption of the ordinances related to our water, sanitary, and electric utilities. Majority of this is removing the utility receipt tax from the state with a minor adjustment in the electric for industrial.
We need to do these separately.
Yeah, okay, because it's separate category.
So this is, we will open the public hearing for 2022-12, adjusting water rates and charges for use of services rendered by the municipal water utilities of the town of Bargersville at 118. Anyone have any comments or questions from the public? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing at 118, 30 seconds.
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance 2022-12.
Motion by Mr. Doyle. Second by Mrs. Coles. Seeing no questions or comments, all those in favor? Aye. 5-0. Okay, we will open the public hearing for ordinance 2022-13 for 13. For those revising rates and charges for the use of services and services rendered by the municipal electric utility of the town of Bargersville. We'll open it at 119. Anybody? Going once, going twice. We will close at 119, 45 seconds. Entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance 2022-13.
Motion by Mr. Dole. I'll make the second. Do a motion by Mr. Dole, a second by Mr. Greenwood. All those, seeing no questions or comments, all those in favor? Aye. 5-0. We will open the public hearing for ordinance 2022-14, adjusting sewer rates and charges for the use of services rendered by the municipal sewer utility of the town of Bargersville at 120. Anybody? Anyway. We will close the public hearing at 1:20. I will entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance 2022-14.
Motion by Mr. Doyle, second by Mrs. Quall. Seeing no questions or comments, all those in favor? Aye. Thank you. You all. Mr. Stone, ordinance 2022-15. Authorizing appropriation of funds.
So this is the appropriation we brought for you a while back. It's subject, it's open today for a public hearing. Have to answer any questions you may have.
This is for the Kephart part of construction.
That's right. And the only thing that may look a little bit different from discussion is the 750,000 is the actual first tranche of money. It's actually less than that. The U.S. Treasury mandates that you can't get your second tranche until at least 12 months after your first. So we'll receive the remainder of phase two by September 1st is what we're anticipating.
Any questions from Mr. Stout? Council? We will open the public hearing for ordinance 2022-15 at 1:21. We will close the public hearing at 1:21.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion, ordinance 2022-15, authorizing the appropriation of funds for capital.
Motion by Mr. Ramel. Second by Mr. Wall. Seeing no questions or comments, all those in favor? Aye. The ordinance passes. Moving right along. Thanks. All right. Everyone had a chance to look at the credit card statement, balance sheet, and expenses.
I just have one question on global payments, bank fees, and charges. Is that related to payments being made on utilities? It's the expenses or global payments, bank fees and charges.
Why don't you come on up, man?
Sorry, James, your voice.
I'm sorry. I didn't want you to think I was the only Susan. The global payments, Inc., it's under bank fees and charges. Is that credit cards or bills being paid through utilities?
Usually,
Is it-
yes, it's, that global fee is from Germany.
is it-
It's a bill for Kevin.
Is it the fee that we get charged for processing credit payments?
I mean, yes, there's 4,000. See what higher it used to be.
Yes, global payments is typically if someone were to pay their utility bill like credit card, debit card, or if they're paying their permit fees through a credit card, there's processing people.
Is that 3%, 5%?
It's under 3, so the town agrees to pay all the fees up front, and we get the lowest rate we can get from Visa. It's like 2.5, so quote on that, I have to double check.
There's a dollar.
Well, that permit fees, that's that.
That's
That's
our-
Processing fee.
Yeah, that's just our, that's your thing.
Some of the larger permits, I don't know, I have to double check the plan to see if they're using corporate credit cards to pay for large permit. We approve it.
That's pass-through processing.
Thank you, guys.
We're gonna approve via consensus. Yep, consensus. 5-0. There's 3 live. All right. We have to consensus treasurer's report.
It's
It's
just,
the report. Everyone had a chance to look at it. Any questions for the report form? All right, did everyone review the minutes from the June 14th meeting? Any changes, comments, or questions? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the June 14th, Bargersville Town Council meeting minutes.
Motion by Mrs. Flores,
I'll second that.
second by Mr. Romero. Seeing no questions or comments, all those in favor? Aye.
Didn't know was it.
Oh, 4-0, an abstention. This is which one? He was on the beach. All right.
For Pepper Park, good responses, the contractor's recommendations. So full responses were received for the Pepper Park project on 2022 for consideration of crossroads engineering and Shrewsbury's recommended oil construction management to be awarded the project subject to findings.
Mr. President, I can make a motion for the bid response to approve oil construction or the bid of Park Park. Not to exceed $3,570,000.
A motion by Mr. Romell. Second by Mrs. Moore. Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. 5-0.
Next, the station change orders will have Greg come up.
Hopefully you guys can keep your streak alive, right?
Yeah.
What about Donald, though?
Yeah. He's got a good day.
Contingency log, just to update on where we stand. The amount there, rounding to $0, just reflecting that last change order from last meeting that was approved. We have a few additional items for today. Starting with PCO 43, which is an undercut of some subgrade. If you remember, we had a cement stabilization price several months ago. We were able to get the majority of it passed. We had about 1,000 square foot though that recommended to undercut, put stone, geogrid down there in the back parking lot. So that was Milestone's price, the $7,624. PCO 44 was some conduit that needed to be repaired and being damaged. I will say this, I've talked to Julie more about this one, and we can avoid that one for this meeting. I heard the full report if possible. PCO 45 was some added data lines for some microphones in interview rooms. That price was $1,580. And then PCO 46 was, if you remember last meeting, we added a ceiling down in the basement, which that PCO was approved. However, we realized some of the diffusers didn't meet the ceiling elevations, so we had to make a few adjustments to the diffusers. So that's the $1,151.
Yeah, are there any questions for Greg? What we do it individually.
We'll make a motion to approve change order 43 for $7,624.24.
Motion by Mr. Wall, second by Mr. Moore. Seeing no questions or comments, all those in favor? Aye.
Change order 44. I'll make a motion for change order 45 for $1,579.86.
Second. Motion by Mr. Wall, second by Mr. Moore. Seeing no questions or comments, all those in favor?
Make a motion for change order 46 for $1,151.
Motion by Mr. Wall, second by Mrs. Moore. Seeing no questions or comments, all those in favor? Aye. 5-0. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg. Next is adding a doorway to the HR office, as you guys can see from the outside to the office. There's a couple, they require 2 quotes. Recommendation is for do commercial.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to approve the commercial to do HR for not to exceed $4,950. Motion by Mr. Bell, second by Mr. Doyle.
Seeing no questions or comments, all those in favor?
Aye.
And then we have a tax payment compliance form for Centurion Arms. They completed all the required documents at this time and you're recommended approval.
Move to approve tax abatement for Centurion Arms.
Motion by Mr. Doyle, second by Mrs. Moore. Seeing no questions or comments, all those in favor?
Aye.
And then,
Community crossing matching grant summary. All right, good afternoon. Glad to be here again. I believe Julie had forwarded the listing. I know we had a bit of discussion on the program. Council had moved towards the option number one, which is the overlay type of program for this upcoming application. And the listing there showed the roadways as well as the map that was included, I believe. A lot of the subdivision streets that are more or less within the bounds of the close proximity, giving a pretty good program, I think, that's going to result in good bidding. And so there's the various listing of the alternates that we looked through and priced out to get you within the overall max budget with the $1 million grant application or just under. We'd be applying for the $999,750. About as close as we could get to stay under. But if this was approvable by the council, we would move forward with the application. That opens here in July and closes towards the end of July, like we have done in previous years. We're staffed to get that accomplished.
can you just give us my consensus statement?
Census we had. Very good. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think Julie may come back with signatures, or I believe she came back last year to do the same, to get approval of council to allow Mr. Greenwood to sign the actual letters that go in at that time with the application process, but that'll be something that she can take care of. Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Finally, we have closed for recurring vendors, gathered for additional services for the new police station. The expenses will be recurring monthly. So we have Best Way Trash, PhD Cleaning, Linemate, Terminex, and Van Oswald.
Questions about?
I would move we approve the professional services for the police building. The amount of $5,675.70.
Motion by Mr. Doyle, second by Mrs. Moore. Seeing no questions or comments, all those in favor? Aye. Mr. Seacos. Sure. Do you have anything?
Nothing. Take it easy on this day.
All right, Chief, your turn.
Well, I think it's important that you guys keep your streak going here.
Do that.
That's up to you.
This time last year, Adam Stone and I sat down and did budgets. We put in the budget cost for the canine in hopes that today would come and you guys would approve that for us. I think it's important to have a canine in Bargersville because a lot of the things that we do is very time sensitive. And the drone program we have is because of time being so sensitive. You never know what things are going to happen, and you're waiting on other agencies to get things done. It's sometimes hard to do. And thankful to have other agencies to lean on, but they can't move as fast as we need to do sometimes. So it'd be nice to have 29 in Bargersville. 69 is a big part of the canine road running world that is running up and down from northern up to southern Indiana a lot and down into the other states. I anticipate that we would be able to probably pay for that dog in the next couple of years with the amount of drugs that we would seize from that corridor alone. If you can have a guy out there all the time doing that. You can't always do that. But it would be a search dog. It would be a area search dog. It would be a bite dog. It would be a drug dog. So it's kind of a all in one box. Does a little bit of everything. Total cost $20,514. Adam and I budgeted $30,000 for this section of the dog. So obviously we came in under what we thought we might. And there are other sections of the dog. Obviously there's medical, there's veterinary and stuff, there's food, there's insurance, and there's the home kennel that needs to be in the car. So there's other sections of the dog that are going to be expenses, but at this point, we're in pretty good shape at $20,514. If you approve it, we can get the dog September 8th. September 12th would be his the dog's training date and the officer training date. He'd be there for 6 weeks.
Mr. Bertram, you have 18,000. Is that you to say that's lower in your budget, or you need to request 20,000?
There's another page. I wrote it in pen on mine. There's another page of $18,064. That's the dual purpose handler course, and it comes with I'm sorry, $1,864. Yeah, so I just doubled it, didn't I? And that comes with that list of stuff there that you're going to need for a dual purpose dog, which is a bite dog and surgery.
Mr. President, I have questions on that motion. I will make a motion to approve the K-9 for Bargersville Police Department at totaling $20,514.
Motion by Mr. Romero, second by Mr. Doyle.
Well, congratulations, it's our first one.
Yeah.
The first dog.
All those in favor? Aye. I think Susie gets the first picture.
Yeah. Just right. That's all I have for me.
Between
Thank you.
Mr. Silco's, who can the arm wrestling contest.
He is here, but he doesn't have anything to win the meeting, so I'm okay, good.
Mr. Kilgore.
Battery life here, my laptop to get through all this here.
Good, we can handle that.
Okay, good afternoon. First item is to increase the PO. So this is our electric distribution project for the AMI meters. We had some commercial meters and some larger meters for residential properties that were not included in the initial bid. So we're asking to raise the PO an additional $16,500, which I believe is just under 3% of what the overall project was initially bid at, and not to exceed amount. So we're excited to get this finished up. Got some outstanding invoices that we're holding until today. So I'm hoping that we can approve this.
Any questions from Mr. Kilgore? Entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the request to increase the PO 0463-21 in the amount of $51,390.44.
We're just increasing it.
We're just increasing 60 and 5 to the amount of that.
To the amount, yeah.
Yeah,
Total
so
amount.
only an increase of 16,500. Just want to clarify. Okay. I have a motion by Mr. Doyle and a second by Ms. Moore. Seeing no questions or comments, all those in favor? Aye. Thank you.
The next item is to start the asset management on the water utility side and pre-lim engineering report for our North Water Plant rehab project that we've got planned for 2025. So it takes quite a bit of time to engineer that, to see what's needed, and that will play into the asset management piece. So we'd like to get started on that as soon as we can, and Jim McNulty is here to answer any questions related to these two projects.
This is hourly to not exceed, so there's a chance it could come in lower.
Correct.
You did a lot of work on your wastewater one, so and that helped a lot. So if there's that opportunity for staff to help out a lot with that, then there is a lot of opportunity for that, certainly.
Any questions, any additional questions? Sorry. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for the Strand to do the preliminary report for the North Water Plant Asset Management Plan, not to exceed $105,000.
Motion by Mrs. Qualls, second by Mrs. Moore. Seeing no questions or comments, all those in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Give me 1 second, I have some documents on the desk here.
Thank you, sir.
The next item is our South Grove Landing sewer main extension project. As you know, we've been working on this for quite some time with easements and scoping out this project. We had one bid returned on this, and it is Crossroads' recommendation to approve subsurface of Indiana for the project. And we will continue to work with the contractor at ways to save. So have already engaged with SSI on ideas on how to save. So it is a recommendation to move forward with the bid.
So on this one, it's safe to say that we have a little inflationary increase.
Yes. And the depth of the sewer line, and access to it, caused a lot of the high pricing that we've seen on this bid.
And you still feel confident that you have funds to take care of this in this budget cycle, and we'll, if need be, we'll adjust some other projects. This was identified pretty early on, maybe even a year ago, as a project that the council wanted to see come to fruition. It's unfortunate that the prices are what they are, but I don't know that the town of Bargersville is gonna make a dent in that. So, yeah, any other questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
The difference between cost and request, what's on here is that. What is it?
That's
what we
amount.
have to go. No.
Yeah.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to approve SSI or subsurface Indiana for the South Grove Landing Sewer Extension not to exceed $728,170.65.
Motion by Mr. Romero, second by Mr. Doyle. Seeing no questions or comments, all those in favor? Aye. 5-0. Thank you. Sir.
The next project is our Stones Crossing water tower project. We had one bid on this project. You have the engineer's recommendation, so looking for guidance if we accept or reject.
Kevin, I see on the sheet you just handed out, the computed total is $6,076,100. On the sheet, we got 4.9 million. Is that an increase from what we had budgeted? Gotcha. Mr. President, I move to approve the bid by Caldwell in the amount of $6,076,100.
Motion by Mr. Doyle,
I'll second.
second by Mrs. Moore. Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is approval and acceptance of their Travis Road enforcement project. That project is complete and we're looking for Rancher Cavity deduct in order number 3, $5,371. And then we would like approval to release all retainage and acceptance of the project. All waivers of liens have been provided. Yeah, we one today. Any questions, comments? Mr. Kelly?
So we have to do this to approve the project. We have to do like 3 different motions here.
You can do it if you detail them.
Okay. Mr. President, I move that we approve the Travis Road enforcement project with the change order number 3, a credit of $5,371. Also, the approval for the release of retainage in the amount of $10,179.25, and we accept, we waive all waivers and liens that have been approved.
Motion by Mr. Doyle, second by Mrs. Walls. Seeing no questions or comments, all those in favor? Aye.
Thank you. Our next item is our 2 Cent Road sanitary project. We have a couple of easements that we would like to settle. What we'll do is, as we firm up these easements, we'll bring them to council. That way we can, once we receive their W-9, we can issue a check. So today we have 4 of those in front of you for approval.
Based on your numbers here, it looks like the total amount will be less than that, so that's just giving me a little room.
We have to motion individually for each person. Or is that?
He wants more because I think we got extra easements that we need to get. Is that correct, Kevin, or?
Yeah, we still have some more that we're working on, but we've got 4 that are ready to process.
Just a dollar.
Dollar
amount. But then we've got a dollar amount, we think it's gonna take to require, I'll just prove the dollar amount required.
To see a movie and not to exceed the total amount for sanitary sewer.
I'll make a motion to approve for additional easements for sanitary sewer easements not to exceed 50,000 for the 2 Cent Road.
Motion by Mr. Revelle, second by Mrs. questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Next project is our Baldwin Valley reconstruction project. We got his schedule here. Just to make sure council was still on board with this project. Just engineered and ready to go out. We've got the project broken up by each utility in town. It looks like advertised for bids first week of July. Open bids on July 18th. Come back at your July 26th meeting. Hopefully with great pricing. Okay. Thank you. Next item is consider lease options for two electric vehicle chargers on Baldwin Street. Input is here to kind of present this. So with our new light project, we are running additional spare conduit for future charging stations on North Baldwin. And once the authority is interested in us proceeding with this, we'll always have conduit in the ground and ready for it.
Hello, I'm Philip Presto. I'm with the IMPA Service Corps. That was Kevin 2 or 3 weeks ago to discuss these EV chargers. He went in, like you said, put the conduit in. I'm just here to cover kind of the two options that we presented. One was buying the chargers outright, and two was leasing chargers. I would make the recommendation to lease the chargers. And a couple of reasons for that is I don't have to be responsible for any maintenance or damage to those chargers. So someone gets in with a car, someone vandalizes them, they will be covered and replaced by a charge point entity that will retain ownership of the chargers. They also cover all the software upgrades. You can call them at any time and say, hey, I want to update the rates that I want to charge them. So like if you're having an event here, you say, I want to charge, free charging this weekend, they can set that up and change it. So anything like that, that's all covered with this lease contract. They would retain the lease for those chargers, so they would own them. And then after 5 years, you can either renew the lease, or in my opinion, in 5 years, the chargers are probably going to be obsolete, so you'll have to replace them anyway. So that would be a good opportunity to decide whether you want to replace them with a better unit that's come out, because they're just like cell phones, they change and update every couple months, it seems. So that kind of protects you without being stuck using one thing for the life of the charger. So any questions, concerns, comments, I'll be happy to answer for you.
So the way this is proposed, this would be a public pay for charging station.
Yeah, and that's entirely up
So
to you.
and it would be able to be utilized by the variety of different electric vehicles that are all coming online.
Correct. Yeah, the level 2 charger, so it's a little bit slower, so it only runs on 240 single phase instead of 480 3-phase chargers that you see like Tesla superchargers. So any car would be able to use this. Most Teslas would have to use or all of them would have to use an adapter, which they should have, because you can only use a Tesla charger port. But all cars on the road should be able to use this charger. Plus, these 2 chargers will be able to do 2 cars at a time. So you'll be able to charge 4 cars total on these chargers, these level 2 chargers. But yeah, it's a public, it's up to you guys if you want to charge for it. Like I said, you can have like a special event where, it's free charging for that event, or change it for, it's different on weekdays or work days or something like that. So completely up to you how you guys want to recoup your costs or try to recoup costs on it.
I imagine there's a lot of maintenance on these.
Not really. We've had we've had a level 2 and a level 3 charger installed at the IMPA headquarters. The level 3 is actually giving us the most issues. The level 2 just kind of sits there and charges, and we haven't had any issues other than a couple software updates, but ChargePoint just kind of emails us and says, hey, we're updating your software, the charger will be available for a half hour. So we haven't had any issues as far as people hitting it or doing anything, no problems that we've had to correct. I don't know if that's a normal case, but that's our experience with these chargers.
So level 2 is the lease, or you can lease the boat?
You can lease the level 3, but it's quite a jump in price. It's basically like $30,000 per charger, so you'd be looking at like $60,000, and that's over 5 years, so it'd be $5,000 a year. These ones are $2,400 a piece per year for 5 years, so it comes out to $48,000, I think, was the total for the lease for the level 2 chargers.
Level 3 looks quite a big.
It is, and you can only charge one car at a time, so that's the other drawback. Instead of being able to charge 4 cars, you'd be only charging 2 cars, and they would require a lot of electrical infrastructure upgrade as well. Because where you're putting them there across the street here, it's not set up for a 3-phase charger, and you have to do a lot of primary underground to get the required power to those 2 chargers. These ones can basically use what's existing right now, other than the conduit that's potentially put in. So they're kind of set up right now to use these level 2s without any extra infrastructure from this.
Kevin, can you kind of tell everybody where they're located on Baldwin Street, and do we need one on Main Street?
So right now on Baldwin Street, on North Baldwin Street, we're pretty flexible. So the 2-inch conduit runs the whole length of the street. So our initial plan was to put one on the north end and one on the south end, close to the intersection. But we have flexibility to move anywhere in that space.
Is the idea that this would be a profit center for our utility, or why are we getting in the electric charging business?
The idea would be, if nothing else, to break even to make sure that we're covering our lease costs. But we wanted to at least bring to the council now, since the electricians and the contractors are here working on everything, and they most likely to be the ones pulling the wire to these chargers if you decide to do it. There seems to be a lot of buzz about charging stations and the future. This is our opportunity to do it where, as I mentioned, the contractors are here. But like I said, we'll have to come to the ground if we decide to do it a year from now. We can do that.
I mean, look, I believe it. I think this is the long-term future personally. I just don't know that it's the town or utility business to get into this. It's like 50 years ago saying we're gonna go put in a gas station, right? I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I personally would like to think about it a little bit more. Sure. It kind of, they're smart and allows us to do it later. I wouldn't want to do it to break even. Not that we're trying to make a huge profit, but I don't know.
Would this be on the test?
I mean, this has nothing to do with our police charging and what we're doing with our customers. So this is really just, right? I mean,
No,
I'm looking
my
at you back
understanding
there, not you,
Sorry,
sorry.
my understanding is you guys are kind of doing this to, I see it as more of a bringing people to your towns that have electric vehicles. So someone visiting taxman here, they just, they drive their Tesla down here, they have somewhere to charge while they're sitting here dining and spending time in your town. And that's another good reason to use the level 2s, because it'll take longer to charge, they have more time to shine and spend money. So,
Would this be on the Tesla network in the car? Because I know it's not a Tesla charger, because it points you to charging stations.
Right.
Point
yeah,
Tesla
this, if when you set it up with ChargePoint, it gets onto like PlugShare and all the other EV charger sites as an active site, so you can't research it or like plug it in and say, okay, I'm going to Bargersville, where's the closest charger? Also, Bargersville, I guess I can use that one there. So yeah, it would show up nationwide, I guess, as far as being available.
What's the average charge, like, per kilowatt hour, or how's it even work?
So
If you don't know anything.
the ones that we set up at our, because IMPA can't sell energy, so we just have a flat fee. So it's like, I think it's $1 to hook up and then like 50 cents per half hour after that or something to that effect. So basically you're looking at like $4 to charge your car to 85% while you're waiting there, if you're waiting there for an hour or two. But you guys can set it up, I think since you're a utility, you can set it up to do a per hour or kilowatt rate, but I'd have to look into it to see what you guys can do. I know IMPA is a little bit different as far as we can't sell energy directly to customers. So our numbers. The rate would be I don't think it'd be any different rate than, you're gonna charge a different rate for it than, yeah, you would.
And what we charge for electricity to our other customers, we have to do the same rate.
Yeah. Unless you wanted to do something different, or you have to.
I'm not sure on the business end of it, just going on the data, but I think it is a good marketing thing for the town. That's just my spin on it. The business end is important. I didn't know the ones they put at Kroger, it's all I hear here lately. Kroger's got chargers, and there's this one buzz about it.
You think about it?
Yeah. So I appreciate you coming. I think maybe table it, we can have a little conversation. Okay. I think what is the difference, one more question, sorry, again, we're just scratching the surface on this, but the difference in the time on the charger, so one charger is like 5 minutes and the other one's an hour or two?
Yeah, the level 3, you could probably get up to 80% charge, because that's kind of, so you could get that in 20 to 40 minutes, depending on where you're at when you pull up to the charger. The other one's gonna take anywhere from an hour to 3 hours. So there's quite a bit of difference, but again, you have to do a lot of infrastructure upgrading with those level 3 chargers. So
Those are really attractive, right? Like if I'm driving on the highway,
yeah,
from Florida, right?
yeah, those are the ones. Yeah, yeah.
These are Tesla.
For traveling, yes, but for this kind of situation, you wouldn't want to maybe 10 minutes. People are going to be here, they're going to tax me, they're going to be here for an hour and a half. They probably didn't plan on coming here to charge, and they conveniently decide, oh, I can charge here.
Yeah.
It's free, or it's not free, or whatever. It's a supercharger, would be a supercharger.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a good possibility that cars that come here that aren't Teslas can't use that supercharger. Because there are some electric vehicles on the road that just can't take that amount of current. So these level 2 kind of guarantee that everyone that has an electric vehicle can use them.
It's like a plug-in hybrids that only go like 30 miles to the charge, those can use this.
Yep. Yeah, we had one guy at our work had a Chevy Bolt that was plug-in hybrid, so yeah, he would charge, for 2 hours unplugged, and then he could, basically drive to work and drive home on electric only instead of using the gas portion of the vehicle. Any other questions? I can leave. Kevin's got all my info, so if you ever have any questions, you can send them to me. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
But we are working on it, right?
Yeah.
The next item is to further spend down our remaining SRF funds at our sewer plant. So we are working with Strand and we're at Bargersville on some repairs to our reclaim pond and our potential creek. But we've identified a piece of equipment that we would like to use these funds on. That was initially in the capital, so we were going to take cash for this. We can back that out of our capital budget and switch over to the SRF funds. And this is all going through Sourcewell and all the competitive pricing and so forth. Right now, rough estimate, you have about 107,000 left over in this loan, and it is our goal to close that out this year. Close books on it. So we're before you today, or I'm here before you today. See if we can buy a Kubota skid steer. It's like final sales price. So we are still engineering and working on repairs we might have. We've got an erosion problem with our pond and plant. Creek, we're looking at options, so we're still working on that, working with all the different agencies that regulate creeks and streams and so forth. So it takes some time to work all of that out, but it's still our goal to hopefully close this out next 4 months or so.
Kevin, to clarify, is the request for $59,881.47 for the Kubota skid steer?
Yes.
And what else? Is that the sole request?
That is the sole request for today, yes.
And you're gonna fund it through the SRF fund, so like capital funded.
Correct.
Any other questions for Mr. Sawyer?
I will entertain a motion.
I'll, Mr. President, make a motion to approve the purchase of a Kubota, selling price of $59,000 to be used out the balance remaining SRF funds for the sewer plant project. Is that
I'll take the 59,000.
not exceeding $81,000? Oh, how much?
47?
51.47.
59,881.47. Thanks, sir.
Motion by Mr. Ravel, second by Mrs. Moore.
Approving this.
Yeah, 59,881.47. Seeing no additional questions or comments, all those in favor? Aye.
Thank you. The next item is our audio and video equipment upgrades for the boardroom. This will add additional mics and capabilities for broadcasting our meetings on different platforms. It's been some time since we've invested in our equipment here. The company that we work with is pretty much top of the line that we've gone through. We've gone through like 4 different microphone systems in this room, and we just like to expand that and get a little more function for the different meetings that we have.
Yeah, some share one. Just
The packet's not here. Is that got one line from Cheryl?
I don't have any questions. Does anyone else have any questions for Mr. Kellner? I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to purchase this digital equipment for the boardroom audio video, not to exceed $51,390.44.
Motion by Mrs. Moore,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Romero. See no questions or comments, all those in favor?
Aye. One more.
One more.
I'm almost done here. He's been trying all day.
Put them out, 7792. Kevin.
So they've itemized, so this is on our back truck purchase last meeting. The delivery cost was, not included. Let's see if I can do that.
That's courtesy delivery fee zero.
Yeah.
Took away the courtesy.
It says it.
Okay, so the second page, first line item is $6,000 for freight. Right. That's the last one in front of me.
That's last month in council.
That's pretty cool. So Kevin, why are they saying that they didn't have?
Yeah, it says on, I'm pulling it up from last week, Kevin, and it got the 6,000 in there.
Yeah.
Freight and prep, 6,000.
The only thing I can figure, maybe that 6,000 for aftermarket equipment is what they, it's the same amount, I don't know this.
Why don't you go back and check first and just clarify?
Yeah.
Before we make this approval.
Yeah.
Would be my suggestion.
We'll do that.
We've already authorized the contract, so the price is not gonna change on the overall contract, correct? Correct, or it shouldn't. Yeah. This is an enterprise issue, not a dealership or. That's my understanding. Yeah. Well, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
I see the email. If we don't want this, then why we should.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mr. President, I move that we accept Town Manager Julie Young's resignation tendered today.
Motion by Mr. Doyle, second by Mrs. Moore. All those in favor? Aye. I think, and then last but not least, we're gonna move our next scheduled town council meetings instead of 12. I guess we'll have to do a motion. We'll be moving that to the 19th, so I'll make a motion to move our regularly scheduled 7 PM town council meeting from July 12th to July 19th.
At 7, at 7 p.m.
7 PM. Motion by Mr. Greenwood, second by Mrs. Claus. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. I think that's all she wrote. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.